Good evening, all. I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, August 30th, 2023, 6:15 p.m. remote participation meeting agenda for the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust. In accordance with Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom meeting ID 818-0509-7403 or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Alicia Hersey at ahersey@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8220 extension 142 prior to the meeting. Good evening, James. Great to see you joining us. Oh, you're on mute, James.
I say it was a challenge, man.
Well,
I'm in.
I'm glad you're here. So I just read the governor's message. So
yeah, I heard most of it. I heard it on my phone.
First order of business is to approve the agenda. May we have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Thank you very much. Any discussion on this? Hearing none. And boy, this is going to be so nice when we don't have to do this anymore. Hollywood Squares. Sean, how do you vote?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
Cindy?
Aye.
And the interim chair votes aye. Fantastic. Next is the approval of the 7/26/23 meeting minute. May we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from 7/26/23.
Thank you. Thank you, James, for the second. Does anybody have any corrections, thoughts, or input?
No.
Thank you, Sean. Again, thank you, Cindy, for putting together the minutes for us. With that, we'll take a vote. Sean, you're once again first on Hollywood Squares.
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Colleen?
I wasn't there, so I should probably abstain.
Okay, we'll take that. Cindy?
Aye.
And Jeff votes aye. Great. Next on our hit list is the 2024 CPC funding request. And I kind of want to, and there's a request letter we didn't get attached, just to catch everybody. Alicia?
Public comment.
Was it pitched in the?
I'm sorry. I scrolled right past it. It was totally unintentional. Thank you. I'm working from computers today, not a printer. Anyone here for public comment? Please, Pauline, go ahead.
Thank you, Jeff. I was just trying to bring up the agenda because I didn't have it in front of me. I have no comment about the request, but I noticed that the discussion topic of the bylaw change has come off the agenda. Is that because it's now a moot issue, or are you still discussing it or going to be discussing it?
I tell you what, Pauline, so I don't answer it twice. If you can be patient, the 2024 CPC funding request, we'll take care of it. And I was going to give a history of what happened since you brought this to our attention. And I think when I'm done with it, let me know if there's more information that you need, please. Okay?
Fair enough.
No, I appreciate that. No, thank you.
Thank you.
With that, guys, I was going to say, let me jump in and touch the tops of the waves. As we all know, it was brought to our attention that we need to have an independent audit done. And so with vacations being what they were over the summer, we were unable to get a clear picture in the conversation. Both Alicia and I approached the town manager's office and also Barbara Tierney, the tax collector, finance director's office. Everyone is in an absolute 100% agreement that it is a Mass General law. A local bylaw is not going to change anything. I apologize up front that we missed it last year. Hopefully, going forward, we will do this. With that being said, and this I think answers your question, Pauline. We've gone to CPC looking for money to manage the rental assistance program and some funding to be put in the account for the housing trust for future use. Along the way, we spoke with Chairman Provodakis about can money granted by the CPC be used for administrative costs, to wit, the audit. So after talking to Ms. Tierney and Alicia doing her work on what it would cost to do an audit, we determined that it would probably be, if we put $3,000 into the request, that we would have a situation where we'd have enough money to pay for the audit, which we need to do, and CPC funds can be used for that type of admin function. So that's kind of the tops of the waves of about 7 conversations we've had over the last few weeks between the manager, Barbara Tierney, Alicia, myself, and other people. With that being said, as you all may know, and I'm trying to pull up the request letter here. I don't know, Alicia, do you have the original request letter?
Yes.
By chance? So I'm going to walk you through what we did, and hopefully it'll be
the original or just the
the
new one?
original. I want to do the original one, and then we'll just do the funding piece on the second one. Do you have
I
it?
don't have the original with me because
Put the second one up. Put the second one
Okay.
up. I can talk from that. Thank you.
Let me just get into my email. I'm sorry. I brought
No,
it
no
home.
worries. No worries.
I'm using my own computer here because
And I know you sent me one today. You sent me a copy of it, but I can't put my finger on it.
Yes,
So
I could probably find the CPC, what CPC voted on, the proposal from the last meeting, if that would be helpful.
You know what? Let's do the amended. If at least you can get one way or the other, it's gonna.
Yeah.
I want to look at the amended anyway because that's what's going forward, and I think it'll be helpful to have it in front of us.
okay.
And along those lines, on behalf of, I told the board I would fill out an application, and I took it upon myself to write a letter to Chairman Provodakis explaining the situation so that we could keep moving forward for the September 6th meeting. And I'll share both those with you in a moment.
Yes, I'm just gonna put this on my desktop.
Okay, great. No worries, Alicia. We got time.
Jeff, can I ask a quick question while she's
Sure. Yes,
looking?
please do.
So
Yeah.
we're not changing the amount of the request that we're
Absolutely.
asking CPC for. We're simply saying 3,000 of that extra amount would go towards administrative
Exactly.
costs. So
Exactly. So the original request was $72,000 for rental assistance. The balance, 123,000, I believe it was for money in the coffers for future use. So what we did is we amended the application to be $72,000 for rental assistance. So we're not going to take any money away from that program. We added a line for $3,000 for administrative expenses, and the balance, which would be 122, I think, right now. So the net, the sum is the same amount, $200,000. It's just it's more appropriate to do an amended application. So this needed to get done. I appreciate that it got done now and not in a mea culpa. We made a mistake and let's move forward.
So I'm sorry, I'm not used to share and do. I see my share screen. Cindy, how do I put this up?
Hang on, let me turn that on for you.
Thanks. Well, let me go search it then.
Okay, I turned on screen sharing for you, Alicia.
Okay, now, well, let me go. Here we go. Here's
Yeah.
There you go.
And if I think it's like page 4, if I remember correctly off the top of my head.
Okay, come on.
So nothing changed in the application, who, where, what, and how. The only thing that changed is how much and how it's going to be spent. And with that, I will,
Sorry.
no worries. I'm afraid to go into my
Somebody has
emails.
it in their email too, but
I'm
that's okay.
I'm
I
afraid to,
do have it in my email if you want me to open it up.
perfect. I'm
Well,
afraid to open my
You
town email.
might be better at sharing screens than I am. So I'm at my desktop, but it's saying, okay, open up.
Do you want me to see if I can share it?
Yeah, if you don't mind, because it's not opening.
I didn't
up.
realize it's here. I there we go. Okay. Perfect.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so this is actually the letter that I wrote. Why don't we start here? If everybody can shift gears. So after speaking to Barbara, talking to Alicia, talking to town manager's office, making sure we had covered our bases, I wrote a letter to Janet. And it says, Madam Chair, August 16th, 2023, Madam Chair, I'm writing to you today to ask that you accept an amendment to the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust application for funding at the special town meeting on October 23rd, 2023. As you may be aware, the trust is required to follow specific guidelines regarding the administration of funds. These guidelines include a stipulation that the trust undergo an annual independent audit. The expected cost of an independent audit annually is expected to be less than $3,000. It is for that reason that the trust hopes that you will accept this amendment to the application. In short, the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust is seeking $72,000 for the Ayer Rental Assistance Program for the upcoming year. The Ayer Affordable Housing Trust is seeking $3,000 for the administration and independent audit of the trust's financials. And the Ayer Affordable Housing Trust is seeking funding for future use in the amount of $125,000. The total amount of the funding request remains at the previous total of $200,000. Please feel free to contact either myself or Alicia Hersey should you have any questions regarding this request. Thank you in advance for your kind considering of this request. Regards, Jeff Tillotson, Interim Chair, Ayer Affordable Housing Trust. So that is what we sent to Janet after figuring out what it was. And I also didn't realize I had the I didn't realize I had the email today from you, Alicia. I hadn't been in here yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can probably share that if
Yes, and we also have the amended application there.
The amended
too.
application, that's what I'm looking for. And I think I have it here. So let me open this up. Yes. So I'm going to try and share my screen right now. Hopefully you all can see that. So this is the actual application. And as I said, these front pages are all the same. And I'm going to scroll through kind of quickly. The blue is where Alicia and I gave her an application. She fleshed it out. And the blue is her corrections. And I agree with all of them. I just didn't put it back into black. So when we get to this page here, this is the crux of the matter. So $72,000 underneath contractual, that will be the funding for the Ayer Rental Assistance Program. The change is other $125,000 for acquisitions and future use and $3,000 for administration, adding up to the total of $200,000. So that is what changed on the amendment after your first vote calling the CPC and this meeting today. Everybody all set with this, or do you want me, and Pauline, I will ask you, I can't see you on the screen right now. I'm going to stop sharing unless you have a question about this. Does that answer your question, Pauline? Because we're not good.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It turns out because it's under Mass General Law, as someone once said to me, Mass General Law trumps your teeny little town bylaws. So even if we change the bylaw, it would not have a positive impact. So
Correct.
let's not bother with it.
If you saw my email after your last meeting, I believe I included you and Alicia, and I forget who else at the moment, maybe Janet.
Yeah.
I researched that, and I'm glad that you all saw the light of day on that, because the state statute does, as you said, although I don't like the word trumps the bylaw.
Yeah, well, it's like, 9/11's Bonnie's birthday. There's good things that happen on that day too, Pauline, but I agree with you. So really what it came down to is, and Pauline, please understand, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention. It would have been wicked embarrassing had we screwed this one up or made a mistake with this one. And I'm glad that you brought it to our attention. And it just took a while to get Robert, Barbara, Alicia, Jeffrey lined up to discuss it. And yep. And then, and so that's why the bylaw's off. And then there is the, so if I can move on to the next piece of this, let me make sure I'm not missing something on the agenda again. The follow-on piece to this is, oh, it closed the agenda on me. So bear with me, guys.
The public hearing. That's
Yeah.
the next- What's
So
the date is the 6th?
September 6th.
Next
So
Wednesday.
Do we know what time it is?
I believe 7 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Colleen, 7 p.m.
Oh, no, that's
So-
okay. Yeah, the meetings start at 7. It may be, 7:05, but I think they have it starting right at the first.
Yeah,
I-
Janet
Time to put on the minutes, so that's good. Thank you.
Janet put out a draft of the agenda and we're first on the agenda. So to this end, I saw Sean at a select board meeting or another meeting downtown. I will not be able to meet with the CPC on September 6th. I'm going away for a couple of weeks. I'm riding a bicycle. I can't even call in from where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in the woods somewhere northwest of Kittery. So I asked if Sean Copeland could step up and do the CPC meeting on behalf of the trust. And Sean agreed to do it. And that's where we are with that, guys. So we'll have somebody sitting at the meeting who could do it.
I'll be there as well.
I appreciate that, Colleen, but it puts you in a tough spot.
I'm happy somebody else will be there to present it, but
Yeah, it puts you in a tough spot. So September 6th meeting around 7 o'clock. And Sean, I really do appreciate you taking this on. And I think that wraps this topic up, unless I'm missing something. Any questions from anybody? I'm sorry, it was kind of long-winded, Cindy, but I think you can get the high points. We amended the application, wrote a letter. That's basically it. So cool. With that being said, Alicia, I want to turn it over to you, the Ayer Rental Assistance Program update, please.
Thank you. So we have had a few hiccups in one of our renters had started in September last year, or actually August, and August was their last year for the first year. And I spent the first almost month and a half trying to contact her, found that she was in rehab because she had taken a fall. She's an elderly person. And so finally got contact with her and have just gotten her application in for your approval. She is a second year rental assistance. She is number FY23. Do you all have your sheets that I sent to you? That gives us who we are servicing or who the applications were. So she's FY23 109, the very bottom of that sheet. And she's still a 30-point, she easily qualifies. This is only Social Security. She's handicapped. And it's rental assistance for the second year. And I have the check ready to go for September 1, if you guys would vote on that. Now, if you'd like, we can go over the other applicant, or would you like to vote on one or both at the same time?
Question.
Yes.
Are we talking about her separately because she missed the deadline, and so we're just now doing her separately? Is that okay?
Last time we had a little bit of trouble getting all the money out, so they staggered in. So she was the last person that came and got approved last time. So she ran through August.
I think we should vote on her and then just go on to the next one because
Okay, that would be great.
So
And I'm very happy that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would like to move that I move that we approve the application case FY 23-109.
Second. Jeff, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm sorry. We have multiple seconds. That's great. Thank you. So moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Further discussion? Hearing none. Sean, you're still in the top corner.
Aye.
Thank you. James, you haven't moved. Colleen,
Aye.
Cindy. And the interim chair makes it unanimous. Thank you very much. Okay, back to you, Alicia.
Thank you very much. That was a real struggle. It took me, I got the application in 2 days ago. And so, but I was sitting on the check, assuming that we would be able to put this together. So the other applicant that we have some complications with is FY 23-208. Now, this is a family of 6. And they had quite a bit of debt. I talked to you a little bit about this family. The one of the parents was doing training for job training and wasn't working and had quite a bit of debt, rental debt. So I recommended that he go and apply for the raft because that was more money than what we were going to get. As of August, they contacted him and paid back April, May, June, July. The landlord, because we had already paid April, May, June. No, we had paid May, June, July. Contacted me and said, I need to give you back your rental assistance. I cannot take money for both. Okay. Because it's a federal program, it's a town program, and it's written in our documents that they can't take money for both. So after talking with Barbara, we decided that, yes, we needed to get that money back. We have not received the check back, but he was in favor of doing it. So that will happen. We all want to make sure that we're fine for when we have audits and everything. But the family still is, it's a family of 6. Their score is 38. And I said that I would bring it to you and see if he could reapply for the opening that he would have for September 1.
So did he, in his raft, did he qualify for the full 10,000? And
Yes.
that basically, and the back pay ate it all up, right?
His rent is $2,500 a month.
Yeah. So basically, so come September 1st, he wouldn't be part of any other program, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And even in August, he wasn't, but I think
Yeah.
we should make it clean and start September 1st, if you're in agreement with that.
Absolutely.
And this is something that he has actually got some job opportunities, but even with job opportunities and that score of 38, it's a family of 6 and it's a 20-point scoring for his income on, which is the highest scoring for the income on there. And the family is doing very well, has moved here about a year and a half ago. Maybe just a year ago, because their lease is just coming up. And he's very thankful for what Ayer has done for his family. I should say they, but I mostly meet him. And does anybody have any questions they want to ask me?
Yeah, we're only deciding tonight whether they can reapply.
Well, we can, I've taken the application, I've confirmed his application, and so you can vote on him if you want.
Okay, so we could either just say, yes, you can apply, or we can say, yes, you can be in the program. Why would we do only one? Let's.
Okay. I just didn't know if anybody had any questions.
If I may, Cindy, I think Alicia's done all, we're looking for an approval for FY 23-208 to extend his participation in the program. But what threw it under the bus was the raft payments. As Sean said, he got $10,000 to full federal funding. and the landlord recognized that he couldn't receive funding from both sources.
Well, I think this
So-
also, this might be one of those growing or learning, teaching moments, whatever, for us. So this is a gentleman that participated in our program. At one point in the program, he became eligible for another program. So that basically kind of ended his participation with us. So now he participated with us for what, 7 months? Basically is what it
No.
came down to, like, or 8 months.
So as soon as, I should tell you, he participated for 5, but as soon as the landlord got the money, he did not cash the next check. And I'm sitting holding the September check.
I guess
Um,
I think where I was going with it is that obviously I'm in favor of approving this family again. But our program is for 3 years, right? So would he start over because he didn't complete year 1? So would his family be eligible for a full 3 years or 2 more years? How will we approach that?
It's a rolling. So just as I said, if we didn't approve him, we'd have an opening and we would go give it to someone else. So I track them for when they started in the program, and it's 3 years from when they started. So we give everybody the opportunity to have 3 years in the program as long as they qualify.
So,
So
I'm gonna.
he could do 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. It's not
Okay.
like September to September. He could do
Yeah.
another 2.5 years. Okay. That's
Yeah. I look at it this way, Sean. It's $500 a month, $6,000 a year for 3 years. But there are 3 months I think he's missing. So his total cost our total grant from the program will be 3 months shy of a 3-year period. But he's not restarting the 3-year clock now.
no, and that's my question. I just want to make sure, like, this is the first time we're experiencing this. So I want to make sure, like, going forward, we understand. I also want to make sure that this person is going to get as much as he's eligible for. So
Agreed.
So
Yes,
I
Alicia.
do assume that we're restarting the clock. We're starting a new application from September 1. He took no money out of the program so far.
But may I ask you, Alicia?
You did?
He's taken 0 money. He was approved, but the checks were never cashed.
So what is happening is the landlord's returning. He started in the program in May. The landlord is returning May, June, and July.
okay.
August was not cashed. So
Yep,
we
got
would
it.
start September clean.
This was not clear that,
Okay, so sorry.
Okay. So
I
he
should
will
have
be
written a memo for you guys. I should have, because that would have made it a lot
this
clearer.
family's eligible for the full 3 years starting
Yes.
September. Okay, perfect. That's
for them. Let's
Yes.
just start. I mean,
Okay,
So I'll make a motion that we approve the funding for FY 23-208.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I think we've got it cleared up. Any further discussion?
sorry.
Hearing none. Sean, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you, James.
Aye.
Thank you, Colleen.
Hi.
Thank you, Cindy. And Jeff votes aye also. I'm sorry, I'm laughing that I totally understood it the way it was explained, and then I said it backwards. Thank you so much, Cindy, for doing that. Our language is so perfect. So we've approved unanimously the funding for FY 23-208 and FY 23-109. Alicia, thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Do you have any other further updates you want to share with us at this point?
Just that, okay, yes, two updates, thank you. The Affordable Housing Committee is having their public forum on housing on October, I'm going to say this wrong, 19th. It's a Thursday. I think it's October 19th.
I'll look it up, Alicia. Why don't you keep going? I'll see if I can.
So on October 19th,
Mhm.
and we're hoping that we're going to get a lot of different board members, because it's not only a conversation about housing, but it's going to be a conversation about how we want our community to advance in zoning and all that. A conversation about how do we create a community that has smaller homes so that the average person can buy when housing is developed, and just a lot of housing, interactive housing discussion. We're also going to do at that time a public hearing at the very beginning for the CDBG grant, because I'd like to go and try and get a grant for our housing rehab program. We have a wait list. I'd like to get back doing some housing rehab. And so that will be at that. So I just want it on your radar. And if anybody has any ideas about it, stop in my office, give me a call, we'll talk. The other one is that I will be sending you a invitation to a housing forum that CHAPA's putting on. And anybody's welcome to, whenever I send these to you, you're welcome to sign up. If there's a fee, you send your registration to me and I pay the fee. There's usually a place where you click and they'll let me send a check in. This one doesn't have a fee, but it's a housing regional housing forum that CHAPA's doing for about 2 hours. And I think it's September 17th, and I'm sorry, I should have this, and I don't have my work computer. I have my house computer here. So I will send that out tomorrow to everybody. I just received it today. So just look at those things, and anybody who wants to participate, please feel free.
Yeah. And I happen to know I'm coming back on the 17th. That's a Sunday. So it's going to be nearer on the 17th. Is it going to be virtual, or is it going to be at Devon's? Yeah.
It's virtual.
Yeah. And if you haven't done it yet, these things are worth it, guys. At least you get to meet and hear other perspectives on stuff, which is I find very, very helpful. We do, as a planning board, we do a bunch of things like this, and it's worthwhile. I won't, depending on when it happens, I may not be able to join, but
I have the wrong day if you're saying it's a Sunday.
It's okay. I'm not calling it out on you. I just happen to know that I'm driving home on a Sunday from Canada. So, okay. Great. Thank you very much for the update on that. Maybe I do this a lot, but I got to say thank you very much to Alicia. The first case we discussed, the person was unfindable, and Alicia finally found her because a family member happened to get in touch with Alicia out of the blue. So a lot of work was getting done. And I also want to say that our new social worker, Brittany, I don't know if you've all met her. I can't pronounce her. I've forgotten her last name. I apologize. Was right there ready to help out Alicia as much as she could on figuring that one out, because the person was at a location and was in a position not to be able to fill out the application. The landlord was working with us. Alicia was working on it. Brittany was working on it. So in the background, guys, a lot of activity was happening in order to maintain that person's eligibility for the program. And I want to say thank you very much to Alicia, because I don't think some people would have done it at that level. So, I know I say it a lot, Alicia, but no, that's a lot of work, guys, what ended up happening for that one. And I'm glad that it came to a happy ending at this point.
It worked out well.
It worked out. But everyone was trying to find the person because it's the right thing to do. It was just so it's heartwarming. I'm sorry, but I really enjoyed that.
Well, you just don't want somebody to lose their rental while they're in rehab.
Yeah, things happen to us, and it began. I'm not used to seeing situations like this, and it opened my eyes. Here's a person who's basically alone in the world, and something happened. And a lot of people stepped up to take care of it. So I want to just say thank you very much for that. Next on the list is board elections. I'd like to preface this, if I may. Sean, you're going to take...
Pauline has her hand up.
Oh, I was looking at the other screen. Pauline, go for it.
No
Please.
worries. Thank you, Colleen. I just want to second what you said, Jeff. Alicia does a fabulous job. And as a resident and taxpayer and admittedly an affordable housing advocate, I am so sorry other people aren't hearing this. So I'm going to let you know, I'm going to post this meeting video on my Facebook page so no one can take it down as soon as it's available, because I don't think the people in this town recognize how important this committee is or this trust is. And I want to thank you all for all the effort you put in, especially Alicia, in tracking down people who so deserve our help.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Pauline. Thank you. And
Thank you.
it's, you know, now that I'm around town all day long, every day, pretty much, I see it's crazy. But anyway, it's what makes Ayer Ayer. It's people pulling for each other, which I really like. But thank you, Pauline. And by the way, I'm looking to my left because I'm doing this with electronics and should have a piece of paper in front of me. Board elections. We've had no interest at this point on another member of the trust. So I have no letters of interest from anybody. Carly was away last week. I'm going to ask her again this week to publish the please if you're interested. I was elected interim chair because Jake moved on. We are coming to town meeting. We're going to have an action item before town meeting. I can't speak on behalf of it or against it because I'll have another role at town meeting this year. So we can hold, I would turn to the board to say, we can hold an election, or we can come up with an interim solution for town meeting, whereas the vice chair or somebody else steps up and says, hey, I'm in the room during the CPC request. If there's questions, I'll take it. And I'm willing to continue on as interim chair if you all want, because we all have busy lives, and I've more or less in the last year rearranged my life to allow myself to do things like this. I do want other people to be chair, but everyone's got to look in their own calendars and figure out what's going on. So that's the issue in front of us. And we can have an election anytime. Please, James, go ahead.
Someone talked to me about, and I said, yes, I was willing to speak on the issue at the town meeting.
Thank you.
If that was okay.
Yeah, that gets us over the hump for the town meeting. And hopefully every single one of you, when you're driving by Dunkin' Donuts, you're grabbing the person walking by and say, don't you want to be on the side? Look at the great stuff we do. Come on the committee. I mean, come on the trust. So, and when I get back recharged from my trip, I will start really pushing again to help get not just this role, but the other roles in town that are going on unfilled right now. So I would ask you, and this is a straw vote, would you like to hold an election now, or do you want to push it off a little bit until we get a full vote or come up with a different answer?
Well, if it's okay with you, I said push it off a little bit myself.
Thank you, James.
I would be in agreement with pushing it off a little too, Jeff, if you're willing to stay on as interim, because I personally am not in a position to step up and volunteer to be chair. And maybe if we find someone who is excited to take that on, we might as well wait until we see if we have everybody there. And I will be at the town meeting. And so, James, if you need backup or if anything changes, I'm also happy to, speak to the proposal at town meeting. If, at the last minute, you can't be there.
Thank you.
Let me know.
Appreciate that, Colleen. Any other comments from anybody?
Do we know the date of the town meeting?
Fourth Friday, I think it's October 23rd. As I read that a minute ago off of one of the things, I was like, wait a minute.
Monday. Fourth Monday.
It's the fourth Monday of October.
23rd.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't quote the bylaw, Cindy? Gee.
No.
Yeah, I was in a meeting the other day where I ended up quoting a part of a bylaw I helped to write, and the guy believed me at that point. So yeah, I'm willing to remain as I'm looking at the screen. I know James is on multiple committees, Colleen's on multiple committees, Cindy's got a lot going on. Sean happens to be on a couple of committees also. I'm on a couple of committees. It's we're getting our feet underneath us. I think we're in pretty good shape with what we've been able to get done. We're starting to figure out annually what requires, and I feel like I'm much more capable of speaking to people about what it is to be a trust member requires, and I'm honestly going to start talking to people again about it. And I don't know. We typically have a moment at town meeting where we talk about volunteering for the town and getting involved, and we might be able to use that. I've got to figure out what we can do with that. So I just put it there. And anytime somebody wants to hold an election, please let me know. With that said, one more thing, Alicia, excuse me. I'm assuming, Cindy, you'll continue in the role of clerk?
Well, I was gonna say, do we have any mandate that we have to hold elections at a certain time, or that we should have?
I didn't look into that. I don't know.
I can't, it's whether it specifies, like I'm on the library board and there's a certain time of the year that we do that. And sure if it's for us, I mean, I'm willing to continue to clerk. That's fine. If anybody really wants it, they can have it. But I mean, I'm always going to be taking notes for my own use anyway. So,
Well,
you know, I may as well write them and send them to you.
yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think, James, you are currently the vice chair.
I think so, which I haven't been doing a whole lot, so.
Yeah, but you know what? You stepped up a minute ago, and that's worth a lot. and honestly, James, I was going to try and hit you up for the September 6th, but I saw Sean first. I literally saw him first.
Oh, that's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be there so I can just get more information that I can get anyway.
That'd be great. Yeah, and that one's by Zoom. That CPC meeting is by Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think, Alicia and I have been talking about this, and Alicia said she'd reach out to Sean and to James to make sure that, we talk in the hallway. Did it get on the calendar? And Alicia said, I'll give him a call because she didn't want me to beat you guys up.
So should we just hold an election and then we can kick the can down the road for a year and just leave the positions at the same, or do you not want it that long?
I think we should get it done. Given that, honestly, and I would ask if we amended that suggestion. It's not a motion because it's Alicia, but I would agree to continue as chair until we get a full board. And to answer the question, Cindy, about tradition, select board rearranges after the annual election or at the annual election time because a new member gets voted. Planning board also rearranges after annual election. The planning board did not change who was who for a couple of years because we've got great members now, but they were new to the board and didn't want to step into the role of chair because on planning, there's a lot to do outside of the meetings.
Hey, that's what I was thinking is I'm sorry, but you really don't want somebody coming in from outside who's never been to any of these meetings and then they're going to be chair.
Cindy, but if they come,
you have to stay as chair for at least a few months after they get there. And then, I mean, if they're enthusiastic about it, I encourage them, but not without going through at least a couple of meetings with you in charge. That make sense?
Yes, I appreciate exactly what you're saying. And like I said, I think we're getting our feet underneath us. I think we're starting to hit stride. We're going to go through an audit next year. I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind still being in this seat when we get the audit done, because in talking about the nuts and bolts of the gentleman who got RAFT funding, Barbara Tierney was in the room. And I said, Barbara, I want this to be very clean, ins and outs. How do we handle it? And Barbara said, because one of the thoughts was, we'll just leave the checks with the landlord. No. The person's out of the program, back into the program. And Sean, that speaks to when does the start date all over again, right? Because you got funded through the start. So we should see in our books next year that checks were written, checks were returned, and then they were written again later. So we'll see the ins and the outs, the credits and the debits in the accounting. So that was important to me. And Barbara and Alicia, when we got that whole talk through. So I'm happy if you want to hold an election, I'm happy to continue as.
Well, we don't have to have an election because it's on the agenda. So why don't we just get it?
Do it. Who wants to make the motion?
I move that. All right, what are we doing? We're going to move that each of the three of us stay in the positions we're in right now. All right, I move that Jeff and James and me stay in our current positions for an indeterminate amount of time.
Second that.
Colleen?
I wonder if it makes sense to like revisit it in May
July.
after the Springtown meeting to sort of think ahead for a year. So to say
Yeah.
6 months we'll stay with as is, and maybe we'll make it an end of year question.
I agree with that. And syncing it with the town election usually makes it easy. And I'll double check to make sure that our bylaw hasn't changed or it changes this. But it just seems to be it's an annual thing. And by the way, Jake is not reappointed. We thought he'd be back in time to get reappointed.
All right,
So-
so let's, is it,
Appointments
Yeah.
happen in June. And so if you have elections in July, that would be good.
Would you consider it friendly to say through next July, Cindy?
yeah, I think so. So let me
so-
rephrase.
Yeah.
I move that Jeff and James and I stay in our current positions through next July 2024.
Second.
We have a move and a second. And before I ask for comments and a vote, Pauline has put her hand up. So Pauline, I saw it this time.
I know I'm not a member of this group, but may I suggest through the end of June 30th, 2024, which is the fiscal year?
Cindy, is that friendly?
I think you
Yeah.
guys have to make it, but that would be my suggestion.
So a recommendation from Pauline, and I think
Through July, that's what I meant, so I'll just
Yeah.
add, yeah.
So through June 30th, 2024. Okay.
Oh,
So we have a move. The motion was
wait.
originally. Go ahead, redo it.
Is it June 30th? That's the end of the fiscal year? Okay, so June
Yes.
30th.
Yeah.
Through July, so I said it wrong. Thank you, Pauline.
So I'm going to rephrase it just to make sure. Cindy's
Yep.
motion is that we keep the current structure. James, Cindy, and Jeffrey sitting in the positions they have through June 30th of 2024. And I got the seconds are both shaking their heads. So we have a second on that, Sean and James?
Second, yep.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Sean, you're still in the captain's seat there. How do you vote?
Aye.
James, please.
All right.
Colleen
Aye.
and Cindy.
Aye.
And I will vote aye also. Thank you. So we got that off the list. Thank you all. No, it's
Thank you to all of you for agreeing to stay in your positions a little
Yes.
longer. I appreciate it.
Colleen, we're gunning for you next year, okay?
Hopefully I'll settle into my crazy schedule by then.
Yep. So we typically meet on the last Wednesday of the month. And I'm looking at I'd like to actually start scheduling meetings, for more than just a month out. But I just came from a meeting that scheduled a walkabout at 5:00 on the last Wednesday of next month. Would anybody be willing to meet later in the evening if we do it virtually?
It'd be fine with me.
I got Cindy shaking her head no, and it's so important that she's being here.
Right.
Yes, absolutely not.
Okay. And it's funny. People, you see people comment, I can't do it because I can't do the meeting times. They don't realize that meeting times are actually set by the members in the meeting. It's a 100% totally fair deal. So does September 20th work for people? That's the Wednesday before.
It works for me.
Thank you. I got shaking heads everywhere.
I
about it.
honestly have no idea because I haven't looked at the school activity schedule, but at the moment it seems okay, but I think they usually do open house on a Wednesday night, and I don't know which one it is, so.
Did everybody else get that echoing from Colleen? That was
Yeah.
great. Now so the 20th, you want to look at the school calendar, Colleen, let us know. Okay. And Alicia's got her hand up.
So there's often a conflict. Cindy,
yeah.
Cindy's here.
So I just looked at the calendar and the ZBA meets on the 20th by Zoom,
What time do they meet?
6:15. Yeah, 6 o'clock. Let me look again. 6 o'clock.
I thought we were being clever at the planning board by going before everybody, but everyone is now moving earlier. Hey Cindy, can you see the calendar? What anything open? Week of the 20th.
On a Wednesday.
It doesn't have. I could do Wednesday, October 4th, guys.
CPC.
Good.
We'd back with CPC.
Okay. So
All right.
And then I looked at the school calendar quick while we were discussing. I can't do the 27th late, either 6 o'clock or later.
okay.
Yeah, maybe the 21st, which is a Thursday, but Carly would know better than I do about these
Yeah.
things.
Library. It's not, there'll be library board. It's not Zoom, but I have a conflict, so.
Okay. 28th,
28th.
probably conservation.
It is
Yep.
conservation.
Conservation on the 28th and the 14th. Maybe September 7th or 21st.
We
Yeah.
end up on this day, the fourth Wednesday, because it's the only thing that's open. I mean, I go through this with Carly.
Maybe
Yeah.
Monday the 18th. That's on a non-Board of Health Monday.
Go back to the 27th. What time? How early? See, my problem is it's the end of my fiscal year for Stone Soup Kitchen because I stupidly chose a really bad fiscal year. So
What would work for you, Cindy?
early.
I think there's any good fiscal year date, but
Yeah. So on the 27th, when you say early as possible,
Well, I mean, you're saying we can't do 6:15 because of some other conflict.
ZBA.
No,
No.
you're talking the 20th.
20
We're back to the 27th.
Seventh.
What is your walk around thing? What is this thing that you need to do that we can't?
It's the Ayer. We just changed the name of the committee. It was called the Ayer plus Devon 2033 Committee. It's
what is it called now?
It's called the Ayer Devon's Resolution Committee.
Oh.
So, and we tentatively have planned for 5 o'clock, including a trip on site over in Devon's.
How about 7 o'clock?
I could do it.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
I won't be there because it's open house at the elementary school, but you can feel free to meet without me, and if I get home in time, I can jump on.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Colleen, but we understand totally, and we'll do our best to fill in the blanks, and we'll get the word to Pat. Hopefully, she's feeling better, and so that she will know about it also. And maybe I can get it. Sean, when's your next select board meeting?
There's a short meeting on the 6th and then a regular meeting on the 19th.
Okay, I'm hoping to have maybe an appointment or two for finance and other committees. For the finance committee, at least one by the 19th. Gentleman has stepped forward. He's just got to get his ducks in a row. So
October, would that be the 25th? And can we do 6:15?
I'm happy to put it in the book now for people. The 25th of October at 6:15.
And then next month after that would be, if we're gonna do the 4th, it would be the 22nd, but
Yep.
when's Thanksgiving?
I think the 23rd, right?
Yeah, that's the day before Thanksgiving. So I'd prefer not. Maybe we could do the 29th instead.
29th, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, the 29th would work also for me. And then the following December would be the 27th. That's the Wednesday. Christmas is on a Monday this year.
Oh,
So
I didn't
that's
get be out of town, so
yeah,
do
but
what-
yeah.
do what-
Let's put it on the calendar, and also we've been known to not do meetings holiday weeks because it just gets to be too hard.
Originally, we were supposed to be meeting like 4 times a year.
Let me ask a question. Where are we with affordable with ARAP rental assistance applications?
We will be putting out the application, opening it for the next year January 1st. But we can have all that in line if we get all our work done and keep up with this so that we don't have to meet on the 27th. If we've approved the guidelines and we've approved the application, then we could possibly take December off. So let's just kind of plan on that.
Yep. I'm also going to say, how much work do we have to get done in the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks? So do you think we can push the September 27th meeting at this point?
Possibly.
Let's leave it on.
I don't have anything else, because if we don't have rental assistance,
Yeah.
and the only thing that we're going to be doing is the October, we're doing the public forum.
Mhm.
But that's, you guys aren't doing it. The housing committee is.
So I'm going to recommend that it doesn't sound like there's anything. CPC is on September 6th, and then that's a done deal until town meeting on the 23rd. Because you guys open your hearings and hold your hearings. We participate at that meeting, and that's basically, we don't have to do anything else after that. If we get denied, there's nothing we can do, because we have to wait till next year. Hopefully we won't get a full denial. We'll get only the big part. We hopefully get to 72 and 3 to 75, because we need that to run the program. So maybe we don't need to meet on the 27th at this point. There's nothing pressing. Alicia, if you want to let it churn through your brain for a day or so.
I think that's a good idea, especially if most people are coming to the CPC meeting. So,
Okay. So I'm going to go with the vice chair's recommendation that we don't meet on September 27th. Put that on your shoulders, James. Okay.
Good to me.
Good. So our next meeting would be October 25th at 6:15.
And then November 29th at 6:15, and then maybe December.
If we need it.
Need it. That sounds great.
Yeah. And thank you for saying it's supposed to be quarterly. There will be times when we have to meet because we've got assistance.
It said exactly quarterly. It said, I think that the original agreement was, not less than 4 times a year or something to that effect. So I thought, yeah, this will be fine.
And I'll double check on the elections thing to make sure that we're not out of sync. And I'll read through the bylaw again, because I got nothing to do with my life. Anyway, anything further? That gets us to the end of our agenda. I would love to hear, if there's no other comments from anybody, I'd love to hear a motion to
Adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Thank you, Mr. Stephen. Thank you, Ms. Colleen. All in favor. We're gonna go backwards this time. Cindy?
Aye.
Colleen?
Aye.
James?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you all very much. We got a lot done tonight. We really